Scott Holiday here, and welcome back to another edition of Plus 2 Wrestling. And thank you so much for stopping by and watching some Plus 2 Wrestling. When I first got into the YouTube world, I really didn't know what to expect, but I've been really enjoying my time in this space, and it seems like people have been really enjoying the videos. We're actually very close to 100 subscribers. So perhaps give me a little subscribe right now, and maybe that'll push us over that boundary. I know it's not a huge deal. I'm not going to get a play button from YouTube HQ for 100 subscribers, but it means a lot to me. So please consider subscribing, because I really do appreciate you being here. And real quick, I do have to mention this. Apparently last week, Editor Mike left out all the CZW promos. So I apologize for not having your CZW update, but we'll talk about that more once we plug in. And now let's plug in. This very Sunday, May 7th at Havre de Grace's State Theater, it is Limelight 16, an afternoon of main events. Each one of these matchups, there is so much disdain between the competitors that we had to call it an afternoon of main events. Starting us off, we have the Texas strap match between the top guy, Griffin McCoy, and the ruler, Aaron Ash. These two have been trying to destroy each other for the better part of a year. This dates all the way back to our show at the Circle in Philadelphia, where it went to a no contest, and since then, neither man has been able to get a definitive victory over the other. So they are going to hash it out with a leather strap. Both men will be bound by the wrist and ready to destroy one another. On the outside of this, we also have their compadres in this feud. We have the American Hammer, Matt Quay, taking on Troy Parker. Both men have aligned with the men in the strap match, and they will be more of a appetizer for the strap match. So be sure to check out Matt Quay versus Troy Parker. Also, for the CZW Tag Team Championship, it is a triple threat match. CMD defends against Post Game and The Board. Last time The Board was granted a title shot, they forgot to show up. So will they show up this time? Find out at an afternoon of main events. And in our main event of our afternoon of main events, it is Trial by Combat. Isaiah Wolf takes on the Savage Weight, Fred Yeha. No rules, no ropes. Knockout or submission. Two men enter, one man leaves broken. These two fought to a time limit draw, and since then, one approved that they are the better man. And we will get a definitive answer, finally, at an afternoon of main events. So please join us at Havre de Grace's State Theater on May 7th. The doors open at 3, and the bell rings at 4 p.m. Saturday, June 10th, I of course have a very important question for you. Will you come with me to prom? It is King Crab's Enchantment Under the Sea dance on Saturday, June 10th at the Riverside Beneficial, that is 1742 Pear Street in Reading, Pennsylvania. Please join us for a wrestling prom where I'm happy to announce you will see Stan Styles take on the Spoiler. As a commentator, I of course must stay impartial, but I hope Stan Styles kills him. Prom is a great time. It's a great time for wrestling and dancing and maybe even a promposal.
Mark. I need help. What do you need? So, obviously, I'm going to ask Abby the King Crab's whole prom deal.
Okay.
But I got too many ideas. I got a notebook full of ideas. I can't narrow them down. I don't know what to do. I just might be writing ideas. I don't know. What do I do? Who? I got to pick one.
Look. Yeah. Relax.
Okay.
You know she likes you.
Yeah.
You know why?
He's a tanky. Yeah. He's a big dog. Yeah. Go over there. Okay. Go, hey, girl. I'm not gonna. All right. I got it. I got it. Abby, get on the big dog. Would you like to go with me to King Crab's Under the Sea Enchantment Prom Dance Thing? Yes. Let's go. Yes.
Hey, the video got real weird. That'll make sense later in the video, trust me. But I have to say, I want you to join us May 14th, that is Sunday, at 8 p.m. on the High Tension Wrestling YouTube page for Spring Breakdown 93. Join us as we watch back a fantastic show as we flash back all the way to 1993, where you will see Mike Skyros defend the High Tension Wrestling Championship against Edith Surreal. Plus, the Campeonatos de Ranas are on the line as Ethan Wild LLC challenges the Outfielders. This along with some other fantastic matchups. So be sure to join us on May 14th at 8 p.m. on the High Tension Wrestling YouTube page for a fantastic night of action, and chat along with us as a lot of the wrestlers will be watching along and chatting. And if you can't be there live, we'll live record. When it premieres, you can watch it on demand on the High Tension Wrestling YouTube channel. Also, I want you to join us in Havre de Grace, Maryland on May 20th for Best of the Best. Yes, we will be crowning a brand new CZW World Heavyweight Champion. Who will it be? Will it be Rich Swann? Will it be the Ruler, Aaron Ash? Will it be Kid Bandit? Will it be the Top Guy, Griffin McCoy? Will it be Isaiah Wolf or Fred Yeha or one of the many other competitors that we will have at CZW? Best of the Best. Well, the only way to find out is to join us in Havre de Grace, Maryland on May 20th. Back to your usually scheduled programming. So maybe it's the fact that WWE just had their draft and I'm still in a drafty mood, but AEW is planning what is being called a hard brand split. Over here, well, we got Dynamite on TBS. Over here, we have a new show called AEW Collision that's going to be on TNT. I don't know what the logo is, so Editor Mike, make a logo for AEW Collision. Cool. And it got me thinking, this is happening because of the events of Brawl Out, when CM Punk said some stuff he shouldn't have said, and then he threw some chairs that he shouldn't have thrown, and people who shouldn't have gotten bit got bit. So now the Young Bucks and CM Punk, they don't want to work together. So they're going to work for the same company separately. So there's some very important things that we're going to have to consider in what each one of these shows is going to look like. So this is going to be part us taking a look at what the dirt sheets are basically confirmed for us is going to happen, what those confirmations mean and what we can kind of extract from those confirmations, and a little bit of speculation, and maybe, just maybe, a tiny bit of me doing some fantasy booking. This is what I believe the AEW brand split will look like. Hey, Scott Holiday here. Sorry for this weird interruption with this non-background. I didn't think I'd have to film this. After I filmed my part of the video and sent it over to Editor Mike read in the dirt sheets that the brand split is not happening, that instead it's going to be two different touring groups, and they're not going to be bound to one show. Sometimes Punk will be on Collision, sometimes he'll be on Dynamite, and when that happens, the Bucks just won't be there, so they're not doing a brand split. So Editor Mike decided to pull this video, so it didn't debut on time. And then I sent him this video, the video you are currently watching, to tell him, put up the video. Don't not put up a video because of some dirt sheet news. We worked hard and we made this video. Put this video out. And then he included this part in the video. So please enjoy this video even if it's out of date. So we start with what we already know. So this is what the dirt sheets have basically confirmed. Over here, well, we got CM Punk. We know he's heading to Collision. That means over here, we have the Elite. And when I say the Elite, I mean the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega with Don Callis, I mean Mike Nakazawa, I mean Cowboy Adam Page, because I know as much as we'd love to see Adam Page versus CM Punk again, after CM Punk called him a coward for no reason, I don't think he wants to go over there. So we'll keep Cowboy over here. And Brandon Cutler. And as much as I'd love to put Brandon Cutler over here, he has to stay on Dynamite for a few reasons. I really love the stuff that he's doing as the geek for the Elite, but I would eventually like to see him become something more, so maybe a separation would benefit him. But you can't separate Brandon Cutler from the Elite for one important reason: being the Elite. BTE is a showcase of the Young Bucks, along with some other talent. I know that the Dark Order and Best Friends and Leva Bates used to show up there. We will miss you, Leva. But is mostly a showcase for the Young Bucks that is shot and edited by Brandon Cutler. So you can't really separate the two and still have that show. And it is a viable, profitable product. So you have to keep all of the Elite together. Now, does that mean that if you're on Collision, you can't be on Being the Elite? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Brandon Cutler's over here. Collision's all the way over here. So you can't be on Being the Elite. And it kind of sucks that you have this product, Being the Elite, that has helped the Dark Order grow so much in the hearts and minds of AEW fans that there's not a way to do it over on Collision. But I have a solution. Because apparently, according to reports, joining CM Punk over here on Collision is the Jericho Appreciation Society. So that means you're getting Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Daniel Garcia, Anna JAS 3.0, love you guys, Ty Mello, and Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara has his own YouTube show called Sammy's Vlogs. I think you make Sammy's Vlogs the Collision BTE. This way both shows have kind of the same feel in terms of having supplementary extra credit content that allows these wrestlers to kind of hang back, show a more comedic side of themselves. You could see them, relax and get into antics and have little sketches and all that good stuff. You have that on both shows. So to keep it even, I think you make Sammy's Vlogs more important and you make it kind of their version of BTE. Next up, according to reports, the Blackpool Combat Club is going to be staying on Dynamite. So that means that Dynamite gets Claudio, it gets Bryan Danielson, it gets Jon Moxley, and it gets Wheeler Yuta. Meanwhile, over on Collision is getting FTR. FTR seems to be the biggest supporters of CM Punk. They want to see CM Punk comes back. They have a good relationship with him, so it'd be foolish not to put FTR over on Collision. That does cause a bit of a problem in that FTR are the reigning AEW Tag Team Champions. So if they're stuck over here, what's going on over there? Well, you could do 2 tag titles. You make a new tag title for the Dynamite roster and you keep the AEW titles over here on Collision. I don't think they should do that. One, it's too WWE, if you get my drift. Like, I feel like having 2 of every title across 2 brands has been done before, and it has its merits, but AEW should probably set itself apart from its competition. So we will put the tag titles over here on Collision, and on Dynamite we will have the trios titles. So we will put House of Black along with Julia Hart over here on Dynamite. This is going to give a pretty clear split on where a lot of teams should go, because if you're a trio, you should be on Dynamite. If you're a tag team, you should be over here on Collision. And I have a cheat sheet to help me with this part. So that means that going over here on Collision, we are going to have Starks and Spears, AR Fox and Top Flight, because one of them is always injured, so we'll put them over there. Bullet Club, Juice Robinson, and Switchblade. That's going over here. The Hardy Boys. Hardy Boys, you're over on Collision. Private Party. Please, Private Party used to be my favorite tag team, and I haven't seen them together in so long. I know there's been injuries and all this other stuff, but you're going over here. And this is where things get a bit dangerous. Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. Now, I'm doing this for a few reasons. Some will become more clear a little bit later. But Adam Cole was not cleared when Brawl Out happened. Like, he's been injured and home for quite some time. So maybe he doesn't have the bad blood with CM Punk that the Young Bucks do. I know he's really good friends with the Young Bucks, and he would assumably take the side of the Young Bucks, but perhaps Adam Cole and Roddy can be a bit of a substitute or a stand-in for the Elite and have a nice feud with FTR and CM Punk. Plus, I kind of want Adam Cole to be over there with Bullet Club Gold. I think that just makes a lot of sense. And then over here, we got our trio, so we're throwing Death Triangle over here. The Varsity Athletes can be over here. QTV, they're there. The new Swerves group. I forget what the Swerves group is, but that's going to be over here. Mostly because Naturally Glorious, Dustin Rhodes, and Keith Lee, they're going over here. Because I don't want Swerve and Keith Lee on the same brand. Because I'm tired of this storyline. How is it still happening? Sorry. So yeah, Swerve's group, that can go over there. The Firm, if they still exist after the deletion match, which will probably have happened by the time that you see this, but not by the time I've recorded it, they can be over here. The Butcher and the Blade and Kip Sabian. And at this point, you might notice a few names that seem suspiciously missing. First and foremost would be The Acclaimed. I think there's a lot of story to be told with The Acclaimed not having that big match with FTR and getting that big rematch, because I don't think they're done with the tag team titles and being on Collision. But then I watched Dynamite, and on Dynamite they had a big trios battle royal, and that was won by The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, which makes them a trio. And you know what? I'd like to see Daddy Ass and The Acclaimed hold those trio titles, so they can be over there. This is where I think we're going to run into some problems with what you guys think about how I'm doing this. As much sense as it makes to keep them over here, I'm going to put over here the Dark Order. I think you can tell a nice story about Adam Page not staying with the Dark Order and staying with the Elite and not sticking by their friends that stood by him when the Elite turned their back on him. I think you could do something really nice, but I'm going to put them over here, and hopefully they will help Sammy's vlog become more of an important show. So I feel really bad about it, but I think Dark Order's going over here. Yeah. So now we need to talk about championships. One thing that I say is 100% certain is over here, that's where Wardlow's going with the TNT Championship. Why? Because it's the TNT Championship. That's going to be the mid-card title over here, because it'd be silly to put that over on TBS. So that's going over here. So what do you do with, say, MJF, the holder of the Triple B, the AEW World Champion? You might think, well, you have him float. He's at the top of the mountain. He will defend on both shows. This makes shows important. Both of them are very important. And it makes the title more important because it is clearly the top prize in AEW. But there's a problem. If the champion floats between shows, you know Kenny Omega and CM Punk are never winning that championship because they don't want to float. So we have to lock MJF into one of the shows. We're going to lock him over on Dynamite. Now, I know that there has been a lot of hinting and winking done by MJF when it comes to CM Punk. And I think that makes it even better. The idea of him rubbing it in his face that he's now the best in the world, him eating pickles while doing his own press conferences, invoking the image of CM Punk, and then running away so CM Punk can't get to him. That is a very MJF thing to do. He also has the Dynamite Diamond Ring, and that has the word dynamite in it. So we're going to put him over here. That does leave the question, well, who's the main champion over here on Collision? Do we make a new title? Well, I know earlier I said that you shouldn't do that because it's too WWE and that the last thing AEW needs is more titles. So I'm going to say that again. Don't make any more titles, please. So what we're going to do, and I feel like this is where the argument comes in, over here on Collision, the top championship is the International Championship held by Orange Cassidy. And Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends, they go over here to Collision. Why? Because you might notice that the way that the chips have fallen here, Collision has become this very WWE looking show. You know, it's got the Hardys, it's got Jericho, it's got CM Punk, it's got FTR. A lot of former WWE guys kind of exist over here, and a lot of the indie purist stuff comes from over here. So what do? To separate Collision from the WWE? Well, you take a guy that's won the last 40 matches he's been in. No one has been booked stronger consistently, winning match after match, show after show, defending that title, than Orange Cassidy. And you put him on the top of the mountain, and you make all these WWE guys chase the least WWE guy in the history of wrestling. So, the International Champion is your top championship here, and your mid-card title is the TNT Championship. Over here, the top championship is the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, and the mid-card title is the FTW Champion with Hook. Now, I know that the whole idea is that it's not a sanctioned title, and, you know, it's more about showing that you're tough than holding a championship, but why not make it a legit championship? The FTW Championship is cool. So let's make it more legitimate, and let's do it with Hook. And on top of that, I kind of like the mirrored image of Wardlow and Hook. Like, Wardlow is this huge, giant monster, and Hook is this, like, little, handsome devil. Yet they both just enter the ring and murder the person that they're facing. So I kind of like the idea that they're so different in appearance, but so similar in the way that they execute in the ring, that I think it's nice to kind of have them both floating as the mid-card champion. But maybe that's just me. So now we got to talk about the women's division. I think it's pretty clear that we have to put over here on Dynamite and make it the main women's championship is Jade Cargill with the TBS Championship, which means that the AEW World Championship, if the Women's World Championship, goes over here to Collision, which makes a lot of sense based on the other things that I've done, because that's Jamie Hayter, and by sending Jamie Hayter over there, that means you're also sending Britt Baker over there, and look, that's where Adam Cole already is. And since we're doing this whole AEW WWE looking show over here, we're going to send the Outcasts over here as well. So that is where your Soraya, your Tony Storm, and your Ruby Soho is going. So over here, this is where you're going to put your Willow Nightingales, your Chris Statlander. Whenever Chris Statlander comes back, we want her over here on Dynamite. I know that separates her from the Best Friends, but I think she'll survive without the Best Friends. We're going to put Nia Rose over here as well. And who else can we throw over there? Who am I missing? Because I know Athena is down in ROH, so I'm not sure what we do with Athena, even though we have ROH champions all over the place here. So we're going to put Sheeta over here because of the Britt Baker thing. Sheeta will go over here for now. And Ty Valkyrie, that's who I'm missing. Ty Valkyrie will be over here in this area. I was going to say Leave It Bates, but unfortunately, she's not around anymore. And now we got just like a few cleanup things that we got to do. We have to decide where our pillars are going. We already have MJF over here, and we already have Sammy over here. I would probably send Darby over here to Collision. He's got Sting with him. They can be a tag team. That makes sense. That puts Jungle Boy over here. Also, with the tag titles being over here, I think I'm going to put Christian and Luchasaurus over here, and let's keep those guys apart for as long as possible. And we'll put the Roosh Collective. I never know what's going on with them. We'll put them over here. We can also put the Workhorsemen over here as kind of like trios. And then we'll put pretty Peter Avalon can be over here as well. I think that's everybody. So that's my thoughts on the way that, not really it should look. I think this is the way it's going to look. I think this makes the most sense. This is not a spoiler, it's a prediction, because I'm no Paul Heyman. So what do you think? Do you think this is what the rosters will look like in AEW? Or do you think they're even going to do a hard brand split? Do you think this is all a bunch of hubbub for nothing? And maybe we're getting worked and we will see that match between the Elite and FTR and CM Punk. Do they have like a big stadium show, perhaps in England, coming up that they would need something big to fill? I don't know. You tell me. And thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Plus 2 Wrestling. Please consider giving us a prize and get us a surprise. A subscribe. Surprise me and subscribe. And possibly get us over that 100 subscribers mark. And I hope you have a great day.